I'm going to finish my food before we get into game because we're in a bit of a rush here. I apologize if I'm not able to answer as many questions while we're loading in as a result, but we'll do everything we can. So, blue team has banned out Twitch, LeBlanc, and Braum. Those are actually my 3 solo queue bans, except if I'm if I'm wanting to play Braum, I'll ban out Jax. I'm very surprised neither team banned out Jax with his just dominance in solo queue over the last while, as well as his success in higher elo, competitive play, and ranked 5s. But overall, no complaints about those bans. They're all very strong champions, and they can be very influential in all stages of the game when played properly. So, good job there. In terms of picks, they picked up what I'm assuming would be a mid lane Zed, top lane Ryze, a bot lane Sivir Leona, a less common bot lane, but still very, very strong, and then an Amumu jungle. The thing to keep in mind, they have some pretty good AoE between Amumu and Leona, combined with Sivir throwing Bouncing Blades and Boomerang Blade across all of that. And of course, Ryze's ult making his skills AoE. Zed is going to have to be being essentially a priority assassin, taking out either Draven or Orianna, or even Kha'Zix if Kha'Zix gets ahead. So they have a good team comp. None of it really counteracts each other's goals. Sometimes you'll see something where it's like, you have a Morgana who wants everyone sort of grouped up tight around her so that she can get her ult across all of them. And then you see someone picking like a Janna. It's like, well, you're not cooperating with each other. You're countering each other's goals. So overall, there's no real issues in terms of team comp on their side. All of them are very strong champions. They're very viable. Nothing out of the ordinary. Purple team has banned out Vayne, Riven, and Warwick. Those are weird bans to me. Unless they're a target ban, Vayne is not a very strong solo queue champion at the moment. She can be strong when in an organized environment or when you're just so much better than your opponents. But if you're going to ban an AD carry, why would you ban Vayne? She's not that amazing right now. Same with Riven. She snowballs, she punishes a lot of top laners, but in the long term, why not ban Jax? Jax is just a more reliable, solid pick at this point, in my eyes anyways. But ban what you want to do, obviously. I'm hoping that those were sort of a target ban rather than just what you would normally ban in solo queue, because they're a little odd. In terms of picks, they have a Shen top, a Draven Morgana bot lane. That's a hell of a lot of damage. Kha'Zix jungle, and an Orianna mid. So between the Orianna and Morgana, they have that pull everyone in, ult them, and then Shen taunt across them. Great wombo combo if executed properly. And then they have very good safety from the Morgana, Orianna, and Shen as well, where if they're not setting up plays, they can still shield, they can counteract engages, they can do a lot of things to try and provide some safety to that Draven, and Draven really does need that safety. So I like those picks in order to set him up. The Kha'Zix jungle is the only thing that doesn't quite mesh with their team comp as well as you might want, but he's still a strong jungler. What I might have liked to see is maybe like an Elise, a Vi, or a Lee Sin. Someone who's still going to have that strong initiation or assassination potential when they're ahead, but is a little bit more utility rather than damage focused. In the long term, though, great team comps on both sides. I'm very happy seeing people sort of shift their focus towards what works well together rather than just like, I want to play this. It's like, okay, but why are you playing that? So good work there. We're going to swap over to the other display mode. I'm going to update the text on the screen, and then I'm going to disappear for like 2 minutes while we load in, because I'm very hungry. Alright, just going to turn off my mic for a second, guys. Please bear with it. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I finished shoveling a little bit of food into my mouth so I can continue properly commentating what I'm doing. Random guy, yeah. I have been playing a decent amount of Victor in my solo queue journey, but I've been playing a hell of a lot of support recently. Support is probably my main over mid over the past couple months, but I still do both. I can try and offer some advice on Victor. Hopefully you'll find it useful. Okay, so we're pretty much loaded into the game here. If you guys have any final questions, I would love to answer them. Anything non-giveaway related in terms of questions, just hit me up and I'll try and answer them all. Work in Latin America South. Well, the active giveaway is for a Steam game, so it works anywhere in the world. You have 4 rune pages and you don't know what pages you should get. If I were you, I would go for a general AD page, a general AP page, a general support page, and then 1 page for specialized matchups. So by specialized matchups, I mean, let's say you play a lot of a certain champ. For an example, we'll just say you really like playing Zed. You play Zed all the time. If there's a different rune page that you would use only on Zed that you wouldn't use on other AD characters, let's say you're going to run full armor pen. I'm not recommending you do that, but I'm just using it as an example. If you want to play full armor pen Zed, you still want a general AD page for, oh, well, I can't play him, I'm going to use something else, right? So I would say AD page, AP page, support page, and then 1 page that is specific to your main champion or champions. Alright, sorry, everything's lined up now. What am I thinking about Ryze? Ryze is one of the stronger top lanes in the game right now, and the fact that he's able to compete with the likes of Jax and Renekton is a very scary prospect. In this particular matchup, he's versus a Shen. I would honestly expect Ryze to... Ryze isn't necessarily going to be able to bully Shen out during the initial laning phase because of the sustain that Shen gets and the shielding that he gets. He has no mana, so I would expect Ryze, if he tries to bully and zone, I would expect Ryze to run out of mana and Shen to be able to relatively safely farm up till 6. But that being said, Shen is a relatively weak character come mid to late game in the current meta. That's not to say that he's a weak character in general, but when you compare him against other laners like Jax, Ryze, Irelia, who's getting a lot of popularity, Shen, his late game just isn't quite as glamorous as those characters at the moment. So if Ryze is able to scale up, if Ryze is able to use his teleport effectively, then that could be pretty scary. So nothing too out of the ordinary here, except Morgana as support has opted for Doran's Ring. That is a very, very poor choice. I strongly disagree with that. If you're going support Morgana, go for the Frost Queen's Claim item. And the reason behind that is, well, you're not getting any mana regen from Doran's because you're not last hitting. So you're going Doran's that doesn't build into anything exclusively because I want some early AP and health. Well, just run a more defensive rune or mastery page then, and still run Frost Queen's Claim so you have the AP and mana regen. You get more potions. You get more potions that way, and it's just better overall. In terms of Shen starting with the Null Magic, it's an okay start, but he could just as easily go Doran's Shield, have higher regen. A lot of Ryze's early damage are from auto attacks. He's weaving them in between his skills. So either is a viable option, but if I were him, I probably would have gone Doran's Shield. The early pink ward from Amumu, that's actually a really smart decision because it helps him secure his own jungle. It's less likely that he's going to be invaded. That being said, he is getting really low in this jungle clear. Oh, I'm actually going to rewatch that. So here we see Zed hit level 3 first. Okay, so Orianna actually does even out the experience, but is able to get taken down by a very quick shadow combo with Ignite, and they go 1 for 1 thanks to minions. That could have been just slightly smoother from Zed, but overall, good trade there, making sure you do get that first blood. I'm not sure if he's just not running a tanky enough setup or what. This is a very poor clear coming out. He's going to live, but I mean, that is too close for comfort. Even the slightest amount of an invade would have killed him. You're not going to be able to do doubles. Just go back. There's no way you can do that. Down in bot lane, I've mentioned many times that I'm not a huge fan of... Very nice black shield. I'm not a huge fan of Leona only because she's forced to hard engage. If she doesn't hard engage, if she doesn't get a successful kill or an advantage in lane, she pretty much becomes useless if she gets poked down. And as well played as that was in terms of returning damage onto purple team, that's exactly what you'd expect to see. A beautiful hook going in, goes onto Draven, boom, black shield cancels out the entire engage, and then they can re-engage on purple side, or they can just poke away. Up top lane, we see a gank coming in. Kha'Zix's landing a lot of damage. Ryze trying to pick up the kill, but not able to do so. So that's great, great job. You always want to camp Ryze. Yeah, if you can camp Ryze and get away with it, that's just going to shut him down so easily. If I were a Mumu, I would just be farming up. Nice kill going on to Orianna. That being said, she could have positioned slightly better in terms of just where she was standing so that she wouldn't need to flash auto attack. It worked out, so I have no real complaints, but a flash is a very important resource, and burning it just for an auto attack when maybe just being in slightly better positioning would have saved you that flash, that's something to just keep in the back of your mind. Oh, I also didn't mention, double heal is not ideal bot lane. Both bot lanes are running it. Both these supports should be running exhaust. There's no real reason that you would not run exhaust here. Sorry, I stumbled over my words, but you get the idea. I do want to keep an eye on this though, because there goes the heal. If Morgana lands a binding, this could be a very easy kill. So top lane going pretty much dead even in CS. Mid lane almost even. The fact that Zed's up a few CS well down, well 2 kills now, that's a little shocking. Like, I would expect Orianna to have fantastic wave clear, so she might want to work on her last hitting skills just slightly. Yeah, she's probably going to get another kill here. They get the flash instead. Very good trade there. So Ryze still does have his teleport up. I would like to see them doing a counter gank bot lane. I would be telling Leona or Sivir, make sure you're warding in far into the bushes. And anytime Leona lands an engage, like let's say at level 6, which is coming up soon. Yeah, nice black shield, re-engage coming out. Leona taken very low, they blow their heal and just sort of walk their separate ways. Very nice return damage on Sivir. I'm very happy with how she's managing her auto attacks here. She's orb walking properly, she's setting up return damage. I see a lot of AD carries, especially in lower elo, where they panic, they just run away and they don't return damage. If you're not returning damage, well, you've just lost the trade even more than you would have. So Orianna just getting super far ahead here. This is a pretty one-sided lane at this point. I want to see Zed taking up wraiths, taking up anything that he can do to just build up a farm advantage rather than a kill advantage. He has to accept the fact that he's not going to be able to kill Orianna easily, and just go for a farm or roam advantage instead. A quick note over to Orianna though, I'm surprised she didn't go for an arm guard. She's being given blue, so unless you're being denied blue buff, arm guard would have been the better option. You already have double Durance to ensure mana reliability. I think that's a misplay on her point. It's giving a slight opportunity for Zed to get back into the game. Up top lane, this is exactly what I said was going to happen. Ryze has the range advantage and is going to be able to get a little bit of poke down, but at the end of the day, Shen's going to be pretty much happy to sit there and just sort of scale up in terms of experience. What will be the issue is whether or not he's able to use that ult effectively to set up kills for his team. Or to prevent kills on his team. Sorry, both are good uses. Alright, so that goes down, ult happens. Ooh. That was sloppy on both aspects. A beautiful ult coming out from Orianna to save the day, but I don't know what Zed was doing there. He didn't quite intersperse his skills with his ult. When you're using Zed, you use all of your auto attacks and skills after the ult because they deal bonus damage to the detonation aspect of it. So he needs to work on that a little bit. He could have easily got that kill, but I really do have to compliment that Orianna ult. It was beautifully played and just very, very nice to see. Down in bot lane, Sivir's building up a significant CS advantage. The Leona ult goes in before any black shield can happen, instantly pops the Morgana, but here comes Shen, and Sivir, of course, is already taken down. The heal goes down, but the taunt also connects. Draven landing a lot of damage here. He catches his axe, and that should be a free kill over to him. Very, very nice. With them already down here, I would have liked to see Kha'Zix cycling down to maybe take away a dragon, but he's a little too low to do that at the moment. Alright, so this is what's really costing this Zed. He's landing good poke, he's getting his farm, and then he just like bounces to his clone. Your skills are down at that point. You can't go aggressive onto Orianna. Unless you're planning to go aggressive, why are you putting yourself in a dangerous position where you're going to take damage in return? And Orianna is abusing that to a very high level of success. Okay. Amumu tries to go for the flash, but he's already dead. I really want to give props to Evelyn for spreading out his champion choices. I know he's been in a lot of workshops with this Tristana, and we've had some concerns with him just not quite taking our advice seriously. I don't know if it's just he wants to play the way he wants to play, but we've offered a lot of advice in terms of build, play style, that sort of thing, and he generally seems to ignore it. It's nice to see him branching out, even though it's not necessarily going the best for him. Okay. He had his bandage toss. As soon as you see Kha'Zix trying to come into tower, I would have bandage tossed back towards him. It would have stunned him inside tower long enough for him to take a couple extra hits, and probably would have been enough to kill him, to be perfectly honest. A lot of flashes that just aren't setting anything up. Definitely an issue with a lot of lower rated players, but if your flash isn't going to secure a significant advantage, don't flash. Alright, bot lane getting another kill off this Morgana. Great job. I still have the same concern though. Morgana has built no gold per 10 item, no sight stone, and like the item she's building isn't really doing much for the lane. That being said, Morgana doesn't necessarily need items to do her job. So I mean, she's doing fine in terms of playstyle, but her build order is, and I hate to exaggerate, but her build order is atrocious. Alright, so Mumu. This is a complaint we have with a lot of our lower rated junglers. They try and go aggressive when there's no damage on site. Like, you may get that kill, but you don't have your ult up, and your AD carry's not here. So why are you going aggressive? I would have waited for Sivir and then tried to play aggressive after she shows up. Like, it can be a beautiful engage, but your AD carry is not there. In the meantime, Ryze teleports down, beautiful, beautiful gank, and is able to set up the fight. If that was their plan, they need to communicate that in advance and wait on the teleport. So Orianna farming up a storm here. She is at 87 CS. Sivir's still winning versus Draven, has the highest CS in the game, so good job to her. Even though she's losing in terms of kills and everything, she's farming up a storm and creating some gold advantages for herself. Okay, the rushed cooldown boots and red elixir. That's really delaying your build on Kha'Zix. I wouldn't be going for that. Red elixir's not that good in the mid game at the moment, and I'm fine with cooldown boots on Kha'Zix. Sure, build what you want, but why are you rushing them before you have your Lizard Elder? You want to finish up Lizard Elder earlier, so that it's giving you damage spike. It's giving you gold increase. It's just doing so much for you. Oh, sorry, I have to take a quick look at this fight. Zed going very aggressive, not going to be able to land anything. Kha'Zix shows up for the counter engage. Slow lands, and as does Oriana's skills, so great job there. They now have 4 people mid. They can take a tower, which they should definitely do because it's so low, but they immediately need to cycle over to Dragon, take that objective away for themselves, and then I would suggest cycling for bot lane. I would also expect to see Morgana clearing out this pink ward and trying to get a foothold into their jungle. Oriana has done it instead, so that's a good job. But Morgana does not need to be here for this fight. Ooh, Oriana caught out just a little bit here. She's probably going to live, though. Yeah. Good disengage coming in from Leona. Direct stun onto... direct stun onto Draven and them. Sivir has shown up, but it's a little late for anything to happen. Alright, so Zed putting a little bit of pressure back onto this mid tower, but he has to remember, his tower is gone, so that adjusts how you have to position in lane, how much attention you have to pay to Mia calls, and of course wards that you do have down on the map. So, I want to see him adjusting his playstyle a bit here. I also am surprised he's not roamed at all. He's constantly just throwing himself against this Oriana who's very, very fed at this point. So he needs to realize that what he's doing is not working, adjust his playstyle, and find something that works for him. And in my opinion, roaming is the answer.
I'll take that.
This is a very good decision, actually. Whenever you push out a wave like that, you want to take away double golems if you're on blue side. It gives you a very nice chunk of experience in gold. Amumu needs help here. Blue team is slowly responding. Sivir a little bit slower than the rest. Ooh, not the best stun that she's used this game. Very nice binding coming out from Morgana. The ult is already down from Leona, though, so they need to keep that in mind. The ult from Zed, not going to be enough to finish off Kha'Zix, but he should be able to get Draven. No, beautiful binding coming out for a second time. Shen ult comes in a little bit late, in my opinion, but in the end of the day, they go 3 for 0, so great job. I want to see that turn into map control. Purple team has dropped a ward on both the red buff and behind the red buff. I would have preferred to see the ward in the sacred bush here and in the actual bush at the red buff instead of in the camp itself. That would give you a good map pressure so that you can counter jungle and Mumu a little bit easier. It'll also give you vision as they try and roam between lanes. Blue side has very good warding, though. I want to compliment that. They have a ward behind the red buff. They have a ward on Dragon. I wish this was in Tribush, but still decent warding here. I really like that. As well as the aggressive ward so that they can use the Rise teleport. You're killing me here, Morgana. Please build some support items so that you can actually afford your... Ooh, nice ult. That's very nicely played. The Rise teleport coming in for the counter gank, though. They need to realize that And oh no, they canceled it. They canceled the teleport. That would have been a beautiful fight. That being said, Leona ult was down, but they would have had 4v3 there. Orianna had already used her ult, and they could have re-engaged with a Mumu ult. A Mumu ult into a Ryze combo, followed by Sivir damage. I think that would have been very, very nice for them. Oh, a Mumu ult, no. No, 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 no. I understand he's not played him before, so you can only do so much, but he needs to definitely work on that. Ooh, nice binding. Yeah, chasing there was unwise. You've already used your ults, and you're versus a team who is ahead versus you. What? That was a strange flash. I'm not quite sure what the thinking was there. And another unneeded flash. Okay, Ryze getting a decent amount of push down top. He's about 30 CS ahead on Shen, and is 2-2-0. In the meantime, Shen is 0-0-4, so about equal in terms of gold from kills, but he is down 30 CS.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Good push. So Kha'Zix showing up. Ryze has already left though, so good decision to back. I'm not sure if it was having vision or just understanding where Kha'Zix should be going, but I really appreciate that decision just to back out, go back to base. Alright, so blue team taking 3 bot, gonna try and shove in this tower. I don't see anyone in position to counter this, so they should be getting this. If they are able to get the tower, then they need to rotate over to Dragon as it's up in 25 seconds. Always, always, always keep timers on Dragon and on any buffs that you can. It's just 2 seconds of your time to write it in chat. If I was them, I would be having that timer and trying to cut off Orianna. A quick rotation through jungle and onto Dragon could get them a kill on Orianna as well as the Dragon itself, and then they could have cycled that pressure mid as 5. We're seeing a lot of heals come out throughout this game. Great ult. And so now this is giving a free dragon back over to purple side. Alright, so you know you're going to die there, and you're doing it to take down a support. I do not agree with that choice. Trading 1 for 1 is essentially never worth it. Alright, so Shen taking away the red buff. That's some manly counter jungling. Top laner coming all the way down here to steal this. In the meantime, Orianna setting up so much damage. The Haunted Guys is a interesting choice. I would have finished up Athene's after I had the Arm Guard, and then finished the Hourglass, and then gone for either a Death Cap or a Void Staff, depending on what they were building. It's not that Liandry's is a bad item per se on Orianna, but she has some pretty good scaling. So having that crazy amount of AP come mid-game, you're all of a sudden one-shotting people with your ult combo. Just Q, Alt, W, boom, because it pulls them in close, and then you W across them. So blue team, they don't have a ward on it, but they definitely know what's going down. They're going to be a little slow to react. I'm interested to see if Amumu is able to set up a steal. Alright, so at that point you have used your only real hard engage outside of Amumu. I would have saved the Leona ult. It's Amumu's decision whether or not he wants to try for a steal. Trying to steal with a Leona ult though, no, you need that if you're going to fight. Great ult, but again, I wanted to see the Leona ult up for that fight. In the meantime, Shen zoning out. Ooh, nice damage going on to onto Ryze. Shen ulting back up into the fight. Blue team is now a little bit pincered off. I wanted to see them staying with Sivir. They need to be protecting their AD carry and ensuring that she is able to not only deal her own damage, but able to contribute utility through her ult. Alright, and that is an ace. So there's about a 10k gold advantage purple side at this point. It's pretty difficult to get back into the game. Just core concepts I would suggest for them to keep an eye open for. Not necessarily saying it's going to make them win a game, but it's something to watch for. Number 1, try and get some more wards into the jungle. You have great warding around dragon-ish. Like, they're not the perfect placements of wards, but you have a lot of wards, and they're covering a lot of area. So I appreciate that, but I want to see more wards in choke points. So Sacred Bush, up in near Baron, I would not even mind seeing a ward in their own Tribush up here if there's any focus top lane. Having some wards in those areas allows you to catch people as they cycle between lanes. If you're able to do that and communicate as a team, and they do have enough CC and enough damage to set up kills, even at this stage of the game, they could pull themselves back in. It would be able to catch Purple Team out, assassinate core members such as Orianna or Draven, or even Morgana, and then be able to escape after. But just trading fights is not going to do anything for them. Alright, so Purple Team has not finished collapsing on mid. Ryze, in the meantime, is pushing top, and his teleport is up. I'm interested to see if he teleports down or not. Amumu going to be taken super low incredibly fast. Your damage isn't here. Ryze is not here, and Sivir's not able to contribute to that fight. So you're engaging... They might be able to clean that up with Zed. The engage was fine, they just weren't on the same page, and that's what bothered me about it. Ryze also never did teleport down. He is coming in for the cleanup here. They are on to Orianna. Hourglass goes down. We'll see if Ryze is able to win that fight. In the meantime, Sivir chasing them down. Ryze gets the reset and not able to take down Draven. And in the meantime, Orianna cleans up with the triple kill. Amazing job on this Orianna. I really got to give her props. I think we're going to probably have to graduate her after this, though. So yeah, that was a fine fight, but they didn't seem to communicate it properly. Same complaint I've had with Blue Team all game. They landed a great ult. They landed a great fight. They collapsed. They focused for the most part properly. But Ryze was late to the fight. They didn't cycle necessarily the best way they could, and then they kept trying to duel people that they couldn't. For example, Ryze committed to fighting Draven. If he was, let's say, with his team and grouped focused on the same target, they would have been able to take down Orianna before she finished off kills. They could then retreat and take that win and turn it into maybe an objective or some farm time to sort of make the gold advantage less of an issue, or they could have then re-engaged onto Draven if they were able to land some CC. Captain, you're saying these teams must not have been matched evenly. No, League is a snowbally game. This is pretty even in terms of our games. Alright, so they have two top collapsing on to Ryze. Wait, he just randomly stopped. I don't know why he didn't commit to that. In the meantime, blue is mid. It is 4v3, and Ryze has... No, teleport is already down, sorry. Yeah, Golem definitely would have been better, and then he could have gone for Boots 5 for roaming potential. That would have been a good option. Alright, so Mumu, you're not with team, you're not going to be able to set up anything in that. You need to stop doing that. I understand that you've not played a Mumu before, so it's a little difficult for you, but in general, you're just over-committing to fight. It's not because of the champion you're playing, you're engaging fights that your team is not in a position to follow up on. And as a result, you're wasting cooldowns that are going to be needed later in the game. Oh, Boots of Swiftness on Ryze. Yeah, that's a little questionable. Honestly, if I were him, I probably would have gone Source Boots or Merc Treads, and then got a All Clarity enchant so that you get the move speed. Yeah, late game Draven, I mean, he's got 14 kills. He's super fed, he's going to be able to kill anyone at this stage. Yeah, Merc Treads definitely were the right option. Or would have been, sorry. And the heal saves Draven at the last possible second. Kha'Zix re-engaging. That should be game. Honestly, yeah, Morgana's got the stun on. And Kha'Zix jumped back out. Good reposition. And Draven just going crazy on everyone. They do take him down in the end. It was a nice attempt to save by Shen, but I think he's going to get taken down in the meantime. Unless... yeah, there's the flash. A little bit of indecisiveness coming in from Zed. He sort of faltered back and forth, being like, I don't know which target I want to go on. Just choose one. Choose one, doesn't matter which, and kill them. Yeah, you're welcome to join the next workshop. Just make sure you're in the proper chat rooms. Brian, aka Felric, is the person who does the matchmaking for the workshops. Did Ori AFK? No, she's here. If you've not played in a workshop before, feel free to mention so in chat once we say that we're doing the actual matchmaking. Black Dart. No, this is a ranked workshop. We're taking lower rated players in assigned roles, pairing them up against each other, and then offering constructive advice on how they can improve their overall gameplay. Our advice offers everything from communication, decision-making, mechanics, and just general attitude in solo queue. The idea is that they can help fix their mistakes by watching the stream back after we do upload it to YouTube, and then they would be able to use that to focus their practice and improve as players throughout the entire season. Can non-ranked people join? No. You do have to be rated so that we can pair you up against people of similar rating. Sorry. Is there a gold plat game next? No. Again, you're engaging fights that you cannot win. That's not going to work for you. At that point, abandon the fight, retreat out the bot side, and wait for your team to respawn. You're just chasing after objectives or kills that cannot be secured. When is the RP giveaway? As it says on your screen, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, aka after this game. Alright, so they are just ending the game now. Good decision. But I do have to give props to Pribble Team for ending the match. We see a lot of times with people who are just indecisive, they don't want to end the game. And in this match, though, they're just taking it down. I really appreciate that. It helps us do more workshop games and makes the game less frustrating for the losing team. So Brian is starting the matchmaking now. If you have not played in a workshop game before, feel free to mention so in the chat rooms so that he can try and give you a little bit of priority. In the meantime, we are going to start the RP giveaway. Please try and be patient. We're going to go over the post-game analysis, and then we're going to start it. It will let you know in chat once it has started. So hold your horses, essentially. So, final game breakdown. Orianna got super far ahead, and Zed did not counter that through roaming or smart engages. He needs to work on his essentially overcommitting to fights. I also don't like Frozen Mallet on Zed. That's an odd choice. In the meantime, Draven got super far ahead come mid and late game, but Sivir did farm well in lane. She set up a lot of lane potential, just wasn't able to run away with it. In terms of overall item builds, Sivir, I would have liked to see an earlier Last Whisper. It looks like she was going Bloodthirster, Zeal, and then into Infinity Edge. I wanted to see a Last Whisper because you are dealing with a Shen, and there's some pretty beefy-ish targets. And I mean, Orianna was building essentially full armor. She had a Chain Vest, she had a Hourglass finished, so she had a good amount of armor. So that definitely would have made that choice worth it, I feel anyways. Rise's build order is pretty standard. No huge complaints there except with his teleport timing, and his overall communication in blue team seemed pretty lackluster. They were always engaging in fights that they couldn't win. Zed, I really disliked Frozen Mallet. It's hard to say what I would build in that. I don't really play much Zed. I've seen some people who go for like a Ghost Blade mid-game so that they can stack extra auto attacks in during their ult, because you need very quick auto attack resets and to get extra damage in on your ultimate. Amumu, unfortunately, he apparently only knows how to play Warwick or something. So wasn't very familiar with the champion, but in general, his playstyle was very poor. Just over-committing to fights, committing to fights that you have no way of winning. So you need to be really careful about that. You always need to ask yourself, is this a fight we can win? In the best circumstance, aka I land all my skills, my team lands all their skills, are we going to be able to win this fight? If not, why engage? Look for a better opportunity to engage. So I also would have mentioned that he should have been going for Ancient Golem, and then he could have built some other form of boots, such as Boots 5 if he really needed to roam on the map really quickly, or he could have gone for Ninja Tabi because Draven was wrecking. Leona, her build is fine. She could have played a little bit better, but overall it was just the counter pick. Leona has a very, very rough time versus this style of a team comp. Kha'Zix, I commented early in the game that he built like a really early red pot that he just had sitting in his inventory, and there was something else he had in his inventory, and I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it was a lot of gold that could have been used to complete his Lizard Elder earlier, which would have given him more potent ganks, counter ganks, clear speed, and jungle income. So I would have liked to see that changed up a little bit on him. Oh yeah, sorry, he rushed his cooldown boots and a red pot. It was odd. I didn't agree with it. Draven, no huge complaints. He played really, really well. A lot of that does boil down to Morgana landing some really nice bindings. Same complaints from Morgana, though. Her build was atrocious for support. She started Doran's Ring. Doran's Ring has no effect. Like, if she went for a Frost Queen's Claim early, she would have been able to earn a massive amount of gold. It's pretty common to be able to earn like 2k gold by 20 or 30 minutes into the game using your Frost Queen's Claim. It's a huge amount of gold. And same thing with Sightstone. Sightstone wasn't built really at all early, and I think she also delayed her Hourglass as a result. It was all over the place. I didn't like it, but she played fine. And if you're playing fine, the build makes less of an issue. Orianna, I had a slight complaint that she didn't get an early arm guard, but it didn't matter because she was so far ahead. Overall, great job to both teams. I want to give them props for I didn't see any significant raging in all chat or anything like that. I do want to remind anyone who are participating in these games, these are a constructive, rage-free environment. If someone's playing poorly, well, yeah, that's why they're signing up for the workshop. Like, I understand that it's frustrating when you have bad allies or whatever, but everyone makes mistakes. People are here to learn from their mistakes. So I just want to remind people that no shit-talking, raging, anything like that is allowed. If someone's making a mistake, one quick comment just being like, hey, maybe if you built this or did this instead, that would work better, but try and avoid talking down to them. Regardless, I'm going to have